Thunderstorm stretches upward within that hail core as it's headed toward Kirby. It's moving through Alamo Heights right now, about to hit 410, and it's reaching up and over. That's part of the hail that's within the storm. And actually, we're not detecting a whole lot of it. When I just filter out some of the primary hail echoes within it, you'll see we really don't have a whole lot suspended up within this storm. So I don't anticipate this to be damaging at all, just more of a gee whiz factor. So you don't have to go racing outside to cover your car or anything. Don't worry about this. You're just going to hear it. You'll briefly notice it. It may last a minute or two, and that's about it. Okay, back to our big picture. Put our lightning back on. This batch of heavy rain that's moving into northwestern Atascosa County, that in particular is going to make it to Elmendorf. If you're watching us from Elmendorf, you're going to start getting some rain, but this main batch, that heavier batch, that's going to make it by 8:41 p.m. That's 8:41. Lavernia, you're going to see another hit moving in as all this activity is going from the southwest to the northeast. And so this is moving into the south side of San Antonio. We'll have a few more rounds of these showers. Nothing severe. I want to really stress that. This is just more of, some beneficial rain that we need, but also we have a lot of ponding of water on the roadways, and the typically flood-prone spots are likely to have water on them, and even rising water as we go through the next couple of hours and continue to add more showers and thunderstorms to the mix as they keep developing down to the southwest and move to the northeast. I'm going to get really tight on the west side now. Those of you watching us from, say, Alamo Ranch southward. And right now, it's not the heaviest here on the west and southwest side. Somerset to Von Army, we've got the heavier rain. That's about to cross over 410 into Palo Alto College. We're talking Mission San Jose about to get hit. Lackland Air Force Base about to get a heavy downpour as we go northward up to John Jay High School, SeaWorld, Taft High School, Alamo Ranch. Mainly light in nature, but other heavy showers here. Not damaging, just heavy. With a little bit of lightning and thunder. We're talking I-10 and 1604 around to Chavano Park, moving into Hollywood Park, down to Churchill High School, Rogers Ranch area, moving into the Vineyard, toward Reagan High School, and then especially San Antonio International Airport, and that little bit of hail in the purple here, Eisenhower Road, just north of Rittiman Road, Eisenhower and Corrine Drive and LeSabre Drive. That's where we have just some of this non-damaging hail that's about to hit Roosevelt High School and Windcrest area. So if you're in Windcrest, you have some heavy rain at the moment, but a little bit of light hail is about to move in. And we do have some lightning. You can see a few of those lightning strikes when we tilt it. Look off into the distance. This isn't very electrified, but there are a few ground to cloud lightning strikes. So you may hear some big booms. When you get that really loud, thunderous boom, that usually means a strike is very nearby. So we're looking at just a few lightning strikes here and there. I'm going to come back to this radar view in just a little bit, but I want to get to the forecast as well and show you our future cast. Look, that downpour already moved through downtown and now it's already into Windcrest. These are flying along really fast, but another round is on the way, about to move within 410 in San Antonio. All this coming from the southwest, moving to the northeast. Okay, let's get to the forecast. I mentioned earlier, this is basically through 3 a.m. We're going to have these off and on showers and thunderstorms, maybe some small hail, but flash flooding the primary risk. We're going to have that through up until about 3 a.m. Then those rain chances really fall off. I mean, we're talking down to 20% at 3 a.m. It's most, if not all, out of here. Let's talk about the setup. This is what's happening outside. Notice the development in Mexico and along the Rio Grande. Then that moves into San Antonio and surrounding areas and really blanketing South and Central Texas and even into East Texas. Here's our jet stream that's above us, the steering winds aloft as well. You see that motion. These winds above us at 30,000 feet, they're moving at about 200 miles an hour. So it's flying along. And embedded within this flow, that's where we have little impulses of energy. And our latest impulse is coming in from Mexico, developing those showers near the Rio Grande. and then pushing them into the San Antonio area. And of course, we get some developing directly overhead as well. So let's go forward in time. I don't fully agree with this futurecast. It kind of lays off at 10 a.m. I think there's still going to be 10 p.m. I still think there's going to be a decent amount of activity, but it does show some action through midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and then by 3 a.m., it's all out of here. However, the morning commute is likely to still have some wet roadways, and the flood-prone areas likely to still have some standing water. Not only that, we're going to have some fog to start the day tomorrow before we really clear on out and get into a little bit of sunshine. So far today, the aquifer is up 1.4 feet. But since the rain began, it's up almost 7 feet. So since Saturday, the aquifer is up nearly 7 feet. Still well below average for this time of year by a good 25 feet or so, but it's at least an improvement. Here's our drought monitor, and this is going to be updated tomorrow, and we'll take into account some of the recent rain we've had. Up through Tuesday morning rain, it's going to take into account. You look at the red area, San Antonio, surrounding areas, that's where we have the extreme drought. But let's put the rainfall accumulations on top of it. I just updated these numbers a few minutes ago, but I'm going to have to update them again momentarily because we keep getting these rounds of rain. San Antonio International, over 5 inches of rain since Sunday morning. Canyon Lake Dam, 4.12 inches of rain. Kerrville, not quite as much, about 7/10. But look at some of these actual rain gauge measurements. Stone Oak here, just east of 281, north of 1604, 4.7 inches. Chavano Park, 5.27 inches. Downtown San Antonio, nearly 5 inches of rain since this all began. What about the aquifer? I mentioned to you earlier, it's up, of course, about 1.5 feet today and still rising. It's still responding, but this is the zone where we really want and need the rain to help boost the aquifer, particularly this color right here in the middle, that bluish purplish color. That's the recharge zone. Any water right on top of there goes straight into the aquifer. It's also good to get it up here in the contributing zone farther to the north, as that does drain down into the aquifer gradually. You look at the 4-day rainfall totals, and we highlighted the main parts of the aquifer where we need the rain to fall. And yes, we had some good rain over the recharge zone. You may know, or you may notice when you're driving in parts of northern Bexar County or the far north side of San Antonio, sometimes you'll see signs like along Bitters Road, entering Edwards Aquifer recharge zone or something like that. It's what that's what it's referring to, the area where the rain goes in and goes straight underground into our aquifer for storage. We have to talk about this. Rainfall officially at the airport this month. Look at these numbers, 6.12 inches, and that's 4.63 inches above average at San Antonio International Airport. It is one of the rainiest Januaries we've had on record. I'm going to get to some photos here of, let's see, some rain gauges and other things. Okay, we did have a little bit of hail last night. This is not from tonight. This is from last night. This is not from today. I want to reiterate that. Last night, some hail just southwest of San Antonio, especially Frio County into Atascosa County. And then look at this. Rain gauge so far, 8:10 this morning. Check that out. Nearly 5 inches there in that neighborhood of San Antonio. And unfortunately, this was far south of town yesterday. But if you have any photos or measurements, rain gauges, anything you want to submit, on our Weather Authority app, go to KSAT Connect on the lower right, where we have that little camera. Down to 58 degrees, see the wet roads. The temperature is going to meet the dew point for the rest of the night, so even when the rain ends, we'll have the fog taking over as a result of that. Tomorrow morning, we start the day at 50 degrees with some fog, and then by the afternoon, bit of sunshine, making it to 64. I don't anticipate a very sunny afternoon, but gradually breaking out into some sunshine. Again, mid-60s tomorrow afternoon. And for the most part, we'll just be in the mid-60s, a little closer to 70 maybe in parts of the hill country that clear out and get rid of the clouds earlier. Dense fog again tomorrow evening on into Friday morning. So another problematic commute Friday morning with reduced visibility. We'll be in the 60s next few afternoons with some sunshine. Cold front hits late Friday. That's going to set the stage for a windy Saturday and also cooler mornings this weekend. By Sunday morning, we dip down into the upper 30s, but at least the afternoons will be pleasant in the mid 60s. Again, look at one of the rain gauges around town, and I'm going to click on and get back to the radar for you. Give me 1 second here. Let me reset this and get it back going for you, and we'll take a look at the latest on Authority radar and who's getting the rain and where it's moving in 1 second. All right, sorry, gotta check this. All right, okay, I'm over here at the computer. All right, those of you just tuning in, here's the latest on Authority radar showing the action that's moving through town. It's loud, but it's moving quickly, so it doesn't last all that long. It may be a quick, heavy hit of rain, but it doesn't really stick around for a whole lot of time, a lot of duration. All right, let's take a look at the radar now as we zoom into town and see what parts are getting the rain. And we'll also look at rainfall totals in terms of radar estimates. Not only that, the rain rates, how hard it's coming down. Some of the heaviest rain now. Let's start on the south side. Lackland to Palo Alto College, over toward Mitchell Lake, La Jolla, Quezon as well. This is all headed north into within 410 on the south side, headed toward the Missions and Harlandale High School. Brackenridge High School downtown is going to be up next with this. Rainfall rates within this cluster of heavy rainfall that we have right now. The actual rainfall rates are actually pretty high. They're on the order of 6 to 7 inches an hour. You're not going to see 6 or 7 inches because it's not going to sit overhead for an hour. It's only going to be, maybe 10, 15 minutes max. That's about it. But the rainfall rates are very heavy. So if you do have any travel planned, if you have to venture out to the store, kids' activities, games, practices, whatever, use caution because it's coming down very hard. Even between Live Oak and Windcrest, right along I-35, let's look at Crestway Drive in Windcrest. Always good Christmas lights in this area here. 5 inches an hour is the rainfall rate. So what does this actually translate to in terms of rainfall thus far? Let's look at just 12-hour rainfall. And you get into the 12-hour rainfall. This isn't as much as what we've had since Saturday, of course, but the 12-hour rainfall totals, and we're still adding to them, on the order of around an inch. We're talking right near an inch on the northeast side there. Windcrest to Roosevelt High School, around an inch. 12-hour rainfall elsewhere. The light green is an indicator of a minimum of a half an inch. But what I really like to point out here when we look at the 12-hour rainfall estimates estimated by Doppler radar is the streaky nature of these showers and storms. Notice how they form in these bands, because we get the storms that train and follow each other and move in these general directions. So they end up creating these streaks of heavy rainfall and swaths of heavy rain that then cross over an area of town. And we're getting these lines oriented basically southwest to northeast because that's the flow of the rain that we have out there. Back to radar, just to show you what's happening. Some lightning and thunder with this heavy rain on the far south side and in Atascosa County, Poteet, northward into Bexar County. The heavy rainfall, of course. Timing this out, so we have a little break downtown. It's moving in. Windcrest, you're starting to get on the back side of it, but guess what, Windcrest? Here comes another by 8:50. So 8:50 is when you can expect it. In less than 15 minutes, you'll have another batch of heavy rain. China Grove still mixed in, and then another downpour coming in. Let's go to the far north side, Stone Oak area, even up into Timberwood Park and Bulverde, around Johnson High School, east of 281, Evans Road, very heavy rainfall. But luckily, like we mentioned before, nothing severe, nothing to cause damage, just some problems on the roadways. And we talked about this heavy rain that's now moving through Selma. This is pushing right through Retama Park, on I-35 where you see Retama Park. And keep in mind, this is a big construction zone around 1604 and I-35 north. Whenever you get those construction zones, there's always a higher risk of standing water on the roads. Sometimes you get drainage issues. The drainage gets clogged from construction debris and whatnot. So anticipate a few delays along I-35 here, north and east of 1604, just because this is moving right along I-35 and it's moving through a construction zone. Same with all the way around to 281 and I-10. If you've traveled around there within the past year, there's a lot of construction. All right, let's go a little east of town here. Selma Schertz getting the heavy rain, along with Joint Base Randolph. That's going to be in Geronimo. Let's check Geronimo. Geronimo, you're going to be getting some of this heavier rain by 8:54 p.m. My Aunt Jan, Uncle Mike in Geronimo, Cousin Betsy, 8:54 p.m. Okay, that's when you'll get your next batch of heavy rain. So Auntie Jan, if you did go out for your walk this afternoon or evening, I hope you have us on the Weather Authority app and to start heading back to home so you can make it in time before this next batch of heavy rain hits. Far south side, heavy rain, you get the picture. Okay, I'm going to go back to farther west along the Rio Grande and our border. Notice these heavy downpours still popping up. They continue to develop because this is the next impulse of energy. The impulses of energy are being steered by our upper level winds from the southwest up to the northeast. So kind of along and parallel to I-35 is the way you can think of it. Along and parallel to I-35, and there is some development in between. But this shower in particular, I tell you what, the one that's moving into Uvalde at the moment, I'm going to put it into motion one more time. Okay. All right, it's moving into Uvalde down to Crystal City. I'm just trying to get a good vector for it. All right, I think I got a decent one. This is kind of an odd one to draw out. All right, this one, I'd say it's about that. This one right here, that next batch of heavy rain, making it to Uvalde just within minutes. You're going to have it, of course. It's moving in right now. Batesville, 9 p.m., Sabinal, 9:12, Hondo, 9:41 p.m., Hondo High School at 9:42 p.m. is when you can expect that next batch. So Hondo, you've got some of it moving out, but your next batch isn't that far away. Within an hour, about 1 hour, you're going to have another batch of heavy rainfall in Hondo, Canepa, Sabinal, everywhere in between along Highway 90. Crystal City, some heavy rain. This is all tracking up to the northeast, timing it for Dilley. And we're just going based off the estimates of how fast these showers have been so far today. 9:34 p.m. it'd make it into Dilley. So 9:34 p.m. that next shower is making it to Dilley. Pearsall, we're not going to forget about you. Give you a timeline. Pearsall, 9:46 p.m. based on the storm motions and speeds so far that we've seen thus far. Well, really yesterday and today. It's not just today, but even yesterday. With that jet stream we were talking about, the steering wind is really strong and just moving these babies along, zipping them across at about 50 to 55 miles per hour, even higher than 50 miles per hour. And here it is in motion just over the past hour. You look at that progression in and around San Antonio. There you have it. Starting to get a break around Stone Oak and Helotes, but here comes your next batch. So yeah, you may have a little break right now. It's lightened up between I-10 and 281 on the north side, but get ready for another round within just a few minutes. It's not going to be very long. And then of course it's still just coming down in buckets here, downtown and on the south side toward Hilltop, Mitchell Lake, Buena Vista, the Missions, San Jose, San Juan. So around Houston High School, there's a break, and the Pearl in downtown Highland Park. But this next batch is headed in. So there's, despite a break, anticipate more. Get ready for more rounds of this. So if you're trying to sneak out and maybe run to the store or run some errands, do whatever you need to do outside and trying to time it out, that's almost impossible right now because these just keep developing and coming and going. But I will say this initial batch that we're looking at does have a backside. It's got a backside. And that backside will be through San Antonio. Let's see. So this is riding up I-35. That's going to be downtown. By 9:10, we should see this start to wrap up in downtown. This will be starting to come to an end by 9:10 in downtown. Elmendorf, you'll see the end of it here, this initial batch, by 9:11, 9 p.m., 9:11 p.m. And then up here in the hill country, this is some much needed rain. Accumulations have been significantly less north up I-10, or west you could call it, from Bernie to Comfort to Kerrville to Waring to every place in between, and including Fair Oaks Ranch. But now you're getting some heavy rain, good soaking rain, especially along the Guadalupe River that has had a tough time over the summer, the fall, and now even into this winter. Comal County, let's talk Comal County. Still moderate to heavy rainfall. The reds, the heaviest rain, yellows, moderate rain, moving over Canyon Lake. Already the Canyon Lake Dam, the rain gauge there has measured over 4 inches of rain. Sattler nearby has been 4 to 5 inches of rain measured by rain gauges, and we're just seeing these continue to come and go. So this will give Canyon Lake, the span of time since Saturday is giving Canyon Lake a good drink of water, a much needed drink of water. And then moving out of Stone Oak, crossing over near the Bracken and the Bat Cave and Garden Ridge, moving toward 46 and Bear Creek Hills, just west of New Braunfels, another pocket of heavy rainfall. So all around our area, basically, we have rain, we have downpours, we have showers, but I did mention the backside of it, and the backside of this initial batch, remember, we have more developing closer to the border. Oh boy, that's not a good one. Let's draw a new one, okay? Here we go. This is the backside right here. And I'm gonna time that out. Okay, so this initial group cluster of showers and storms, this is when it's going to end. Often we draw these storm tracks on Authority radar on when it's going to hit. This is the end of it, the backside of this cluster. There will be more clusters, but this is the backside. Castroville, 8:52 p.m. Medina Valley High School, 8:54. Somerset, 8:57. Medina Lake, 8:58. Get to McDonough at 9:01, Southwest High School 9:01, and Brennan High School at 9:05 p.m. That's the backside of it. I'm going to erase this because I don't want to confuse everybody, but that's the back end of it. Looking at how tall some of these storms are, luckily these aren't reaching as high as they did last night, as some of them did last night, because then that can be more of a hail-prone storm. Right now, we're just seeing these tops up to 35,000 feet. Usually when it comes to hail, not always, you want to hit that 40,000 foot mark or higher for the storm tops, or echo tops as we call it, because the radar echoes the echo tops. And another way to check how tall these storms are, of course, is to just get a 3D profile. And let's draw it right here. Tilt it up. See the lightning strikes off in the distance. A few lightning strikes scattered around, but really not a whole lot of lightning strikes cloud to ground. But they're the kind that when they do hit and it's nearby, you're really going to hear it and it can spook you. So just have the kids prepared, have the pets prepared for those random lightning strikes and big rumbles of thunder. See mixed in here. But when you tilt it way up, these aren't stretching all that high into the sky. We're talking about 30,000 feet. Whee! Sorry if I made you dizzy. About 30,000 feet is how high these are stretching, which for a thunderstorm is pretty low, to be honest with you. You want to be up over 40,000 to get any hail typically, or anything that could be more damaging. So right now, nothing severe, but just that little 3D look of the storms that we have out there. And one cool thing I like to do with this, tell you what, this is neat. I'm gonna bring us back home. So straighten out the map and then do one huge 3D cut of our area and all of the showers and storms that are out there. Hold on, let me get that 3D cut for you. Okay, so here we go. Let's draw it, the whole area, right? Now let's get rid of this. And I want to get rid of the lightning as well. Let's get rid of the lightning strikes and just have a little bit of eye candy here. Wait for it. And here's our eye. It's not a whole lot of eye candy because these aren't all that high. But either way, got a little 3D look at some of these showers and storms. There's not a whole lot of vertical growth, so it's hard to really get high up and show a lot of these storms. Just heard a rumble of thunder downtown here. Anyway, that was kind of weak. I apologize because these are such low storms. There's really not a whole lot to show in that third dimension. Now, if there was hail, we'd be able to detect it. I don't really see any popping up on the radar. Nothing really suspended up in those storms, so that's promising. Flash flooding is going to be your primary threat as we go through the night tonight. It's all out of here by 3 a.m. It's gone by 3 a.m. Watch out for residual water on the roadways for the morning commute tomorrow, and also areas of fog tomorrow morning as well. So once we get that break in the rain, remember I was talking about the backside moving through downtown by about 9-10 p.m. Well, the next batch that's going to be on its heels is already from Concan to Uvalde. There you go, turn on the lightning counter. Concan to Uvalde, down to Carrizo Springs and Crystal City. This one's headed to the northeast, and this next batch is going to make it to Big Wells at 9:03 p.m., Cotulla 9:17 p.m., Dilley at 9:29, Derby at 9:36, Pearsall at 9:43. Expect that for the arrival time of this next cluster of thunderstorms. Right now, nothing severe, nothing damaging, but of course we'll monitor it closely if anything may change. But as I said before, primary threat is flash flooding of the typically flood-prone roadways. So I can hear the rain falling here at the KSAT studio, and over my 10 years here, I've been able to basically calibrate my hearing to know if there's any hail mixed in, and if so, the size of the hail, just due to the sound on our roof. And I don't hear any hail because we've been through some big hailstorms together, haven't we? Yes, we have. And we're near the Pearl. We're near the Pearl, right around here, near Central Catholic. That's where KSAT is. So I'm hearing it. I know you're hearing it as well. If I can hear it here, you're definitely hearing it at your house. And the heaviest is right up and down 281 at the moment. So there's a break between Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, and Windcrest along Austin Highway there. That's going to change. This is all headed towards the northeast. Getting a little bit of break in Live Oak and Selma. That's going to change. Live Oak and Selma, you have a little bit of break, but let's check out when this is going to make it. Selma, 9:04 p.m. is when you can expect your next set of, I was looking off to the side because our camera caught a really big cloud-to-cloud strike there. That was neat. Anyway, Selma, 9:04 p.m. Shirts about the same time. Windcrest, 8:57 p.m. Shirts, 9:04 p.m. for that next batch of heavy rain that moves in. We're also starting to see some lighter action start to filter back in. Bernie, it's still heavy, but lighter activity. Leon Springs, Bernie Stage Airfield, up and down I-10, all the way into downtown. And then, as we've been talking about, some of the heaviest now on the east side, China Grove, basically south of Highway 10, along and south of Highway 90, Martinez, China Grove, Boltville, Highland Park, eastward. This is Calaveras Lake. This is some good soaking rain, and it's helping the aquifer quite a bit. As I said before, it's up over 6 feet. Let's see if there are any power outages. Usually with lightning, we see power outages. It's not a whole lot. Total customers without power in Bexar County, at about 100. Lightning strikes will always, whenever we have lightning, we tend to get some power outages. We know CPS, they're good. They're getting on top of it. It'll be taken care of. Don't worry so much about power outages. I just wanted to check it. What about the rest of the state? Well, this is better than that freeze we had a few years ago. Yeah, not too bad. Just some small minor outages here and there in some of the more populated areas. That's about it. So not much in terms of the power outages. I want to show you the 5-day rainfall. This is a thing of beauty right here. I'm going to get rid of some of this clutter, get rid of some of this junk on the screen. Oh, yeah. Look at these numbers. 5.4 inches southwest side, 5.9 closer to Schertz. Now you think that's impressive? Look at Gonzales County. Over 7 inches of rain, over 8 as you get up near LaGrange. It's actually close to one of our mountain biking venues for our middle and high school mountain biking teams that I help coach, Lopez Middle School, part of NICA, the National Interscholastic Cycling Association. Anyway, in Warda, they've got some really good trails there, and they are soaked right now. That grass is going to be long by the time our race day comes in early February near LaGrange in Warda, Texas, I'll tell you that. But notice the nature of it, these streaks from the southwest to the northeast. That's what we're seeing, but this has been very good, healthy, beneficial rain. This is going to be with us. Where'd my other clicker go? Okay, here it is. Ha, can't get away from me for that long, clicker. All right, this is going to be with us up until 3 a.m. By 3 a.m., it's all out of here. It's all out of our area. Intermittent showers, thunderstorms, flash flooding on roadways, primary threat. We've had flash flooding for 3 days in a row now for the morning commutes, and we're going to have more of it. Here's the pattern that we have. These little wind lines here, that's the jet stream up above us. It's at about 30,000 feet, and it's just screaming along. It's around 200 miles per hour in some of the strongest spots. But embedded within this flow are these disturbances, and with this disturbance that's approaching right now, it's throwing the energy into the Del Rio area down to Eagle Pass, right along the border, and then that energy gets moved into San Antonio. It creates these showers and thunderstorms. It's rain-making energy. This pattern will be shifting in the days ahead. This is our last batch of the consistent rain that we've been seeing. We're not expecting much tomorrow or into Friday. I mean, a 10% chance that's it. So this is the last hurrah of this damp pattern that we've had. Here's our future cast. I don't think it's all that accurate at the beginning here, but notice how it does redevelop some of these showers and storms through midnight, 1 a.m., and then it's all east of our area by 3 a.m. And then we just have to deal with residual water on the roadways for the morning commute and fog. Aquifer up about 1.5 feet today and still climbing. Way below average for this time of year, but improvements. It's up almost 7 feet, and by now it probably is 7 feet. It's up almost 7 feet since Saturday. That's impressive. Drought monitor. This will be updated tomorrow, and we'll have it on our newscast. The drought monitor, this red area right here, encompassing all of Bexar County and surrounding areas. That's the worst drought. But look at these totals. San Antonio International, over 5 inches. I need to update these numbers. Over 5 inches. Canyon Lake Dam, over 4 inches. Floresville, over 2 inches. Smiley, 7 inches in Smiley. Seguin, just under 3. New Berlin, almost 4. St. Hedwig, almost 4.5 inches. Chavano Park, 5 1/4, and still adding up. Even Sattler, just south of Canyon Lake there, 5.14. Alamo Ranch, 4.21. These are the aquifer zones where we really need the rain. We highlighted them in this purple color. Now let's put the 4-day rainfall on top of it. You see the sweet spot right in the recharge zone and the contributing zone. It's so good. I know there's been flash flooding and it's come at a bit of a cost, but we need this rain. This is a good drink for the aquifer. I love this kind of, I like to see this over the aquifer zones when we're just talking about filling up the aquifer, which is more than 20 feet below the January average. We needed this. We need it. Over 6 inches of rain so far this month. That's more than 4.5 inches above average. Here's a good example of a rain gauge in town, just under 5 inches. Here's our live cam, and if we watch this for long enough, we may see a few flashes of lightning off in the distance. Oh, yeah, there was one, right? Yeah, we see a few flashes of lightning periodically off in the distance on our live cam. But let's talk about tomorrow. 50 degrees in the morning, foggy to start the day. Still kind of damp, just not as rainy. Just that foggy, misty dampness. 64 in the afternoon with some sunshine. Not much of a breeze tomorrow. So the wind isn't going to help out to dry off the roadways, the sidewalks, or the biking and hiking and running trails. 60s again on Friday, upper 60s. I think dense morning fog. By tomorrow at 8, 9 o'clock, shortly after sunset, I expect the fog to settle in and develop very quickly tomorrow night. So keep that in mind if you plan on traveling Friday night, or I should say Thursday night or early Friday morning. Dense fog, I think, is very likely. Then a cold front sweeps it away. Saturday, windy. We'll have afternoons in the 60s and sunny this weekend, so beautiful afternoons. But keep in mind, we'll have some cool mornings in the upper 30s to right near 40 degrees, especially by Sunday morning. So a bit of a chill in the mornings this weekend, but the afternoons at least will be sunny and clear. I'm going to queue up radar again in just a moment here and have another look at it and take a quick break. I'll be right back in a sec.